Hello again. Tonight I'm going to show you guys how to import your files into Lightroom. Now Lightroom is arranged as a database of sorts. We point the program to where our files are on our hard drive, and Lightroom looks at the files. It never quite brings them inside Lightroom. You can still access your files from Windows Explorer or whatever file directory system you're used to, but it is a little bit confusing to some first-time users. So follow along with me, and we'll get going. So as you see, we are in the library module of Lightroom here. You might recognize this photo as the one we were working on earlier. What I want to focus on right now is the left-hand side. We have our navigator window here, we have our folders, and this is where all of my files are that I've already imported into Lightroom. As I explained before, I like to keep my files organized by date. So I have a folder for 2017, a folder for January of 2017, and then a folder for each individual shooting day in January. And then I start a new one for February. So down here at the bottom, I have this import dialog, and that's where I want to head next. I just click on that button, and it takes us right into the import dialog. Now, on the left-hand side, you see the source. I'm importing directly off of my SD card. I was using it tonight to shoot a basketball game. It's located in my H drive. That's just what Windows sees. You want to point this to wherever your files may be. They may already be on the hard drive. That's okay. I'll explain how to handle that in a sec. You can navigate through any of these. These are all different hard drives I have. Find where your files are. Just navigate to them. And then the second step is to tell Lightroom where you want to put the files. We have a few different options up here. This top bar tells us where we're coming from. In my case, I'm coming from my drive H, which is my card. We can copy them as a DNG. A DNG is a digital negative file. Adobe came up with this. The idea is you convert your RAW files into Adobe's version of RAW files, and it is more open source. So if Canon goes out of business or Nikon goes out of business someday, you can still access your files because the DNG definitions are all public. There's other viewers and more software can read those. They can read your RAW files from Canon or Nikon or Sony or whatever. I don't do that. The DNG does strip some of the information out, and it seems to process files slightly different. Probably not a major issue for most people, but it's something that I'm not particularly worried about. I don't think Canon's going anywhere. Even if they did, there are millions and millions of Canon users out there. I think somebody's going to come up with a solution if the protocols change. You can see the next option here says copy, and we can copy the photos to a new location and add them into our catalog. Pretty self-explanatory there. We can move files if they're on the same disk. If they're on our C drive and we're moving them to someplace else on the C drive, that's what we would pick. Or we can just add our files right where they are, and Lightroom will keep track of where they are. You might have them already organized by date or by photo shoot or by vacation or something, and you don't want to rearrange your files. In that case, just click on add, and Lightroom will just add them to the catalog index and will not move them anywhere. Now, Lightroom, I've said, operates with this catalog system. The catalog is your collection of images. That's it. Some people make a catalog for certain photo shoots. Some people make a catalog for all of their images. Now, I found that I basically need to make a new catalog every year. A special project here or there may require its own catalog, but the catalog is the collection. One problem is the catalog gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Lightroom does operate more slowly. So if you end up with 20,000 or so photos in your catalog, you may want to consider creating a new catalog. But that's a discussion for a different day. Just for now, understand that the catalog is the collection of all of your images from this shoot, from your other shoots, and Lightroom organizes and knows where all this information is. Now, moving along the top bar, we have to tell Lightroom where to put these files. I have a drive D where I keep all my data. You can see here, I pick it. If I click on this, it shows me some recent spots to go. Honestly, this is the first time I've clicked on that in a very long time. Once you get it set up, it kind of just does the thing automatically every time. Let's move into the middle area here, our pictures. I can scroll down and show you I took 800 pictures tonight. We can scroll down, we can see them all. If you decide you don't want to bring certain pictures off the card and put them in your hard drive, you can click or unclick any of these. You can take a quick second to preview them. Generally speaking, I import almost everything and I'll throw out the garbage later on. But you can see everything's selected right now. Everything has a check mark. We can tell it to show all photos. We can tell it to show us new photos. So if you've reused a card, you already had photos on there that you've brought in before, Lightroom will not re-import a second copy. There's a setting that we're going to deal with over on the right-hand side here in a minute. If you have different dates, destination folders, you can sort by that, and I can I can collapse it down and just find specific dates. That's not how I usually shoot, so I don't really use that. I usually shoot an event, come home, import it into my catalog right away, and then format my cards once I have my backups made. So I don't usually have multiple dates on one card, and if I do, it's usually because I'm on vacation or something like that, and I want to import everything anyway. No big deal. All right, so we have talked about the top bar. We've talked about the left side here. I always eject my card right after import so I don't forget. It's just an easy thing to do. Piece of cake there. So let's talk about on the right-hand side over here. Starting at the top, we have file handling. The first thing Lightroom asks is, do you want to build previews? The way Lightroom operates is it brings your files onto your hard drive and then makes a smaller preview that helps speed up the rendering and some of the editing processes. You can either choose to make a very small preview, a standard size preview, or a 1:1. 1:1 is full size. And I choose to make a full size preview at this point. Because what happens is if you don't do that now, it takes up a little bit more time now, but if you don't do it now, when you start fiddling around with your photos later on, you're going to have to wait for the whole image to render. And it's only a few seconds, but it gets annoying. So you might as well just do it up front right now. I include build smart previews. Lightroom in the current generation has started to use something called smart previews, again, to speed up some of the editing processes. As these catalogs get bigger and bigger and the file sizes get bigger and bigger, they have resorted to using basically what amounts to a smaller version of the file when you're zoomed out on the image as a quick shortcut to make things work a little bit quicker. So go ahead and build those smart previews. Building smart previews also allows you to use Lightroom Mobile, and so you can sync certain files on your hard drive, and it'll upload to Adobe servers, and you can then, while you're waiting for the bus or at a coffee shop, scroll through on your mobile device and look at your photos, rank them, edit them, share them, do whatever you want, and the smart previews helps make that possible. The next box here is don't import suspected duplicates. I don't know why you'd ever want to import suspected duplicates. Now, I suppose it's not perfect. I believe it looks at the file name and date and time. The chances of me having two files named MG7992 that were taken on February 14th is very low. So I just keep that checked all the time. You can make a backup right away. Click on this. I have a different backup process, so I don't actually do this, but if you have an external drive or a separate hard drive, you can make a second copy right away. Probably a good idea. Collections are a group of images That may be a specific project, or maybe you want to save all your sky images or grass images or red doors or whatever the case may be. It allows you to pick out individual pictures out of your catalog and group them into these special little collections. I'm going to do that right now. I have one already made for sport. So as I click Add Collection, you can see some of these collections are down here already. We're going to collapse that, open up our sporting events here. And I don't want to add to any of these sporting events. So I'm going to make a new collection here. And I use kind of a goofy way to name things. I go year, month, date, and then now what this does is it allows me to find all my sporting events that I shoot. I shoot a bunch of different kinds of things, but this puts all my sporting events in one spot. And so I name it here. I put it inside a collection set. It's kind of annoying how they do this. There are collection sets which are collections of collections, and you cannot put images inside a collection set. So if you have a collection set, you also have to add a collection below that. And I already have the sporting events as my collection set. This WNBU basketball game versus Bowling Green will be the new collection. We're not going to worry about set as target collection yet. I can sync it with Lightroom Mobile, what I was just telling you about. So after I import all these files, if I keep the sync turned on, then I can pull up Lightroom on my iPad or my phone and start looking through and editing them. Sometimes it's easier to do my first pass when I'm someplace else. Maybe I don't have time to sit in front of my computer or whatever the case may be. So I'm going to leave that turned on for now. And then you just hit create. And we can see that it was just added at the bottom here. So that's great. We're moving on. File renaming. I rename all of my files for a couple reasons. Number one, I like all my files to have a unique name. Number two, if you ever submit your images to the U.S. Copyright Office, they're all supposed to be uniquely named. And so I have a template set up. I call it John Normal Settings. Very original name. But basically what I do is I add my initials, I add the camera that I'm using, I add the date, and then it keeps the original name as you see it there. So you can do a lot of different things. You can just use file names, sequencing numbers, or whatever. But this is how I do it. I very much doubt there's going to be another person on this planet with my initials using a 60 tonight that's going to have the same file numbers. So just click that, renames everything coming in, and that way if things get kind of screwed up, or I'm searching for a lot of different files, I can just, everything's unique, and things will sort in chronological order. So that's all good. Apply during import. We can make a lot of changes in Lightroom. We can change, again, exposure, contrast, color, all that kind of stuff. And we can save those settings as a preset to help us speed up the editing process the next time. Now, some of these changes I do on every photo. And so what I do is I've created a preset and I apply that when I bring my images in. You don't have to. This is a pretty optional setting. I didn't used to do this, but I do it now because I make these changes on everything. For me, I click on the lens corrections. So I fix chromatic aberration, and I fix vignetting, and I fix distortion on every image. So I have those corrected. I add a bit of sharpness, about a 65. I apply a little bit of noise reduction. And then I change the camera profile to match my lens. If you haven't profiled your camera, you'll probably use the Adobe standard. No big deal. That's a great looking, that'll give you great looking images. No problem at all there. Metadata is extra information that goes along with your file. It provides information about you, your name, your address, your phone number. How can people contact you? Your copyright information. Do you give people permission to use your file, or do you reserve all rights? You should reserve all rights. unless explicitly stated otherwise. But again, I have different templates set up. Mostly every year I've updated the year. But let's go down here to edit presets so you can see what that looks like. You can see it doesn't really look like much up here. Let's pull down my copyright 2017 John Crouch. Now I can give everything a basic rating. I can label things and put a caption on everything. Now, maybe it would make sense to put a caption on these. You know, Western Michigan University basketball defeated Bowling Green on February 14th. I'm not going to worry about that. I don't get into that so much. You can, if you know your GPS location or whatever, you can do all this stuff. I don't come back in here and change much. But you can see I come down to the copyright information. For my copyright, I fill in the year and my name. I tell the file that it's copyrighted, all rights reserved. I send them to my website in case they want to get more information from me. And my address and telephone number, email address, all that information's in here. Keep scrolling down. You can keep scrolling down and see all the different things. And I add some keywords. John Crouch Photography, copyright John 2017, John Crouch, you know. So anyway, I add this information to every one of my files. So I've made a preset. I would encourage you to do the same type of thing. So again, we go to metadata. We want to make sure we pick that preset. And then we have keywords. And keywords are useful because we don't live in a world full of AI just yet where the computer can recognize exactly what an image is supposed to be. So we need to add a description, keywords. This isn't sentences. These are single words. So I go through just a kind of quick hierarchy of who, what, when, where, how, why. So who's playing here? I say WMU, Western Michigan University. You can see if I've already typed it in, it sort of populates it already. Bowling Green. What is this? This is sports. These are athletes. Right, the game. Basketball. You can add any kind of description you want. You say indoor, outdoor, where it's Kalamazoo, Michigan. When. Winter sports season, 2017. These are taken as part of a class I teach, so I'll just put class. So if I'm ever searching for my class images, they'll all come up together, and that'll about do it for now. You can get as descriptive as you want, but the more keywords you add to your photos, the easier they will be to find later on. Like I said, Google doesn't control all this just yet. You just click outside the box and it will write these all into the file. Then the next question is destination. Where do you put these? This is going to be up to you and how your system is arranged. But I generally organize mine by date. I've mentioned this before. So I have a folder I call images by date. And I say, Lightroom, I want to put them into images by date. I click this organize by date. And you have some different options to organize by date. And I showed you before. I do year, month, and then year, month, date. And this keeps things nice and organized. If I did February, well, it's going to, in Windows or Macintosh, it's going to put February ahead of January. It's going to put things all out of order. I could just do this one, but, this is just a little bit more descriptive. So that's why I choose that one. And as I scroll down, you'll see images by date is my sort of parent category or parent folder. And I come down here to 2017. It's already made. If it wasn't made, it would make it for me. 2017-02, and then 2000. The date. You can see how it's kind of grayed out. It's kind of in italics. That's where my files are going to go. And this is actually another easy way to kind of select and deselect image from a different day. So I can just unclick right here and it would take everything away and not import anything. Now, obviously, we want to import those, so we're gonna do that right there. And that's it. We are kind of ready to go. We can save all this stuff as a preset, and you can find it down here. This is kind of hidden away down here, actually, but Not a big deal. I don't use this very often. I do have some presets here, but honestly, once you get this whole right side set up, the only thing I update every single time are these keywords. And I'm probably not as good about that as I should be, but yeah, we're ready to go. So from here, we just hit import, and then we sit back. And what you'll see is on the left-hand side here, we have this kind of general catalog locations. There's a current import button here, and this is where you'll find everything. No matter what folder it's getting moved to or copied to, you'll find it here, at least at first, and then we can go locate the folder later. Now, this is going to take a few minutes, so I'm going to hit pause and let Lightroom do its thing. You can see things are being imported in here. When we come back, I'm going to show you how to rate your images quickly and effectively. It's another good way to help you sort through 800 photos in not a lot of time. So, see you in a few minutes. All right, welcome back. We've gone ahead and let Lightroom do its thing. It's imported all of our photos off of our card and brought it over to my hard drive. In the process, we have created a folder down here, 2/14. That was the date that I shot these. You see all 800 photos are in here now. We can also see them in the previous import. Now, if I were to add another card and import a bunch of photos, then the images off the first card would not appear under the previous import box here. But this is a quick way to find all the photos from your previous import, just as the name implies. The question is, what do you do from here? What I like to do is I let Lightroom spend a little time, generate all those previews that we talked about, so that the images are ready to go and it operates much faster. See, I can just scroll through here and see everything. Now you see, I was shooting last night at an arena, and the lighting is terrible. It was pretty yellow. You can see maybe some shots here of yellow seats. The light's yellow, the seats are yellow. You get this yellow cast on everything. So when I'm in a tough situation like that, I do shoot a gray card here. And it's useful because I'll show you how to fix the color to with many images at the same time. But for now, let's rate some images. A couple ways to do this. As we saw before, we could pre-rate everything, but that's kind of silly because you don't want to give everything the same star rating. Now, I use a system, basically a 3-star system. I'll give something 1 star if I know I'm going to delete it right away. It's garbage, it's out of focus, or it's a test shot, something along those lines. 2 stars if I want to keep it, but it's not a great shot. I might want to keep it for a few reasons. Like these gray card shots, I want to keep those around for reference. Maybe later on I'll use them. I might keep a shot around because it's part of a larger sequence, so the individual frame might not be all that interesting, but it might be useful in telling the story of the basketball game. I might find some shots that are okay shots of individual players, and it's not what I'm going after on this particular evening, but I might find them useful again down the road. A good headshot of somebody that doesn't tell the story of this game, but is good for like file footage, that sort of thing. 3 stars I will give to a shot that I think is interesting. I think is good enough to want to take a second look at later on. Doesn't mean I'm going to spend a lot of time on it, but these are the shots that I want to revisit to see if I will spend some time tweaking them, editing them, maybe ultimately publishing them. So from there, I will go back through the 3-star ratings when I'm done, and I will flag the very specific shots that I want to work on. So this is just a quick process. Now, I know in this case that I shot a lot of junk before the game actually started. I don't really need all those shots. So right now I'm in the library module, as we can see up here. And what I can do is I can select a number of photos. I can click on the first picture here, and I can scroll down to where the game began. This is all warm-up stuff. Just like the athletes, the photographers need to warm up for a few minutes too, and just try out the lighting, get the exposure nailed down, fix your color, all that kind of stuff, so you're not struggling during the game. And we'll just jump down here. This is the tip-off right there. So I can select a whole range of images here. And we can actually adjust the thumbnail size over here. We can make things bigger so we can see it a little bit better. We can shrink them down here. And I can just hit the number 1. And when I hit the number 1, it applies a 1-star rating, all this stuff. I know this is all junk. I've already seen it. There's nothing good in here at all. Now, you don't really want to do this for everything, but I know I have a range of photos here that are 1 stars. And when it comes to sports, honestly, I'm going to have a lot of 1-star photos. About 90% of them probably will be 1-star. That's okay. Sports is chaotic. It's action-packed. It can be tough to get the individual shots nailed down. But from there, I jump into the individual images. I just double-click on an image to bring it up to full size. Back off that. And then I can just start going. Now, you'll notice down here, I'll turn the caps lock on. And what this does is anytime I apply a rating to a picture, it automatically advances to the next image. So I don't have to hit 1 star, then an arrow key, or click on something. As soon as I hit the 1 star, or 2 star, 3 star, whatever it is, it moves to the next picture. And so it becomes very quick. And I go quickly through this. I go off of first impressions. Now, a couple things I am looking for is I'm not looking at the overall image. I'm looking at potential. So there might be a smaller crop. Be on the lookout for that for other opportunities. Sometimes there's 2 or 3 opportunities within the same frame. So I don't look at an image just based on face value alone. You have to look at the image's potential, really. So what I will also do is I'll hit the tab button and I'll collapse these menus off to the side, and I will hit the L button, which will actually darken my screen, just like that. That minimizes everything. It just lets me see the picture, and then from here I can judge. So nothing great going on there. 1 star, 1 star, 1 star. I mean, that might be like one of those 2-star shots. I see his face. I see the ball. He's going up for the shot. Maybe it's okay. It's okay. It's not great. Again, I'll give that a 2-star. The stuff down on the other end of the cord is usually too far away. Again, 2-star. I see his face. It's fine. Maybe it's decent for a file shot. And in this case, I'm going to give it 1 star. 1. See, I like that shot. Action, face, ball. So I'm going to keep that one. I like this. I like the coach talking to the ref. I like the hint of the ref, so I give that 3 stars. Same there, and then he starts turning away. So, I'll go back. I'm going to give that 1 star. 1 star there, and there. You can see it goes pretty quickly. And sometimes after I see what happens next, I go back and I revise. So that's a 3-star shot there. Sometimes you miss the focus, and you just run through it. You just hit 1, 2, 2, whatever the case may be. Now, see, this shot here, I would normally say is 3, but I will zoom in and see the focus is a little soft on him. You can see my camera focused just a little bit behind him down here. So, missed opportunity there. This is kind of the shot I was working on all night. I was trying to frame up players between other players and through guys. Just exploring an idea. Didn't really work out so great, but it happened. And when you're shooting sports light, you get the refs standing in your way all the time. It's just great. Like I said, a lot of 1-star shots. Maybe that's a 2. 1. I wish I was down in that corner for that shot. Would have been fun. But I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time. 2. I'll give that a 3. So this is what you do. All right, I'm not going to go through all 800 with you. So I'm going to take a moment, hit L to bring back all the lights. But I'm going to just take a minute here to go through everything off screen. And I'll be back when I'm done rating everything. Hold tight. And that's it. We've rated all of our pictures. So let me back out here and pull up. So I don't really need that yet. And we can see if we go over here to the left, we can pull up the entire folder of images. We can see everything's rated. So the question is, what do you do from here? Well, you can do a couple things. We can open up this right panel here. We can add keywords if you didn't add keywords. Because if I click on any image, you can see it. We still have all those keywords that we applied during the import process. Sometimes it'll suggest other words that you've used in the past, that sort of thing. You can explore your metadata over here, which is all of your file information. My exposure settings, my camera settings, what lens I was using, all that stuff. Your rating here. I could add a title or a caption that can be useful for searching your images, but I don't do that on every shot. If I do a title and caption, it's because it's made it through the gauntlet, and I've decided to actually publish it someplace, whether it's online or in print or whatever the case may be. You also have this comment section here, but that's only if you publish on certain images. Like you publish on, I think, Flickr, and it might import the comments over here. Something I don't really use or pay attention to very often. But what I can do is we can now sort through and filter these images. So I don't really want to look at all the one-star images anymore. So I can come down here to the filter settings. There are some presets over here where it says filters off. If we click on that, it pulls up all these things. Now I've made a preset for 3+ stars. I think 1 star is a Lightroom default, but you can just click on rated images to start with, and then this little star rating will come up here. And right now I'm saying I want to see everything that's greater than or equal to 1 stars. Let's look at our 3-star photos here. There we go. I have about 43 shots from the shoot that I'm interested in, and I will do another pass on these and pick out just the very best. I don't need 43 shots from last night. If I was publishing to a newspaper or something like that, maybe, but this is just for fun. I don't really care about 43 shots. I want maybe like 5 shots. So one way to do this is we have this kind of a comparison tool called the survey view. And what this allows me to do, I'm over here on the left-hand side here, I can select about 5 at a time, and I hold down Shift I click on the first one, I hold down Shift, and I click on the second one, and it allows me to select a range. And I'll come down here and click on the survey view. And what it will do is it'll pull up all 5 shots, and I can see them all at the same time. I don't need anything on the right here, so let's make them a little bit bigger that way. And what I can do is go through here and see which of these do I really like, which ones are standing up for me. So I like this one, I like this shot, and I like this one more than I like the second coach one. So if I hold down the control button and click on it, it takes it out. So I like this guy still, this guy. I like this one here. I like all 4 of these actually. So we're going to keep all of those. And what I'll do from here is I'll start flagging images. And if I hit P, and don't ask me why P stands for flagged, you watch this icon right below the image there. I flag it. And it's another way to sort your images. I'm going to flag all 4 of these. I like all 4 of them. I'll come back and I'll revise them again. And I'll just click on the next set of 5 or 6 images and see. Like here we have this sequence here. I think I don't like this one so much. I don't really need that one. These are kind of, this one is a little too early. So I'll click on this and I'll flag all these. I'll just click them individually. I can turn the caps lock off now too. That's goofing me up. In between these two, if I had to pick one or the other, I think I'm going to pick this middle one here. I like the fact we see both their faces and he's off the ground. There. So there we go. Click the next 5 or 6 images. I like this one here, so I'll click that right away. And once I flag it, I can get rid of it too to make the rest bigger. That one's okay. I'm not excited by it. I like these shots where they're going up and contesting the basket. So pick on that more than this one. Yeah, see, I can just get rid of all those. Get rid of all those. That was that one there, right? All right, so let's pick out the next group. I like this one. I'm going to go with a tighter crop on that, but I see that already. And out of these, I don't need that. With that. With that. Or even that one. Pick that. Next group. Not that one. Not really that one either. You know, you get a lot of similar looking shots, and this is a good way to just see quickly the differences. Like, I think I like this one better. It's not the most exciting shot. I might take that one out later. You know, that's pretty static. I was kind of wandering around. I was teaching when I was shooting, so I was wandering around a little bit. I wasn't always in the best position last night. I know it's the lame excuse, but it is true. I like this one. And the other ones are just okay. Not really great. Maybe I can tighten this one up. I kind of like the coach in the huddle look. And you can see, again, similar shots. The facial expressions changed. He was pretty angry. So I'm going to go with the more stern-looking shot. Now, this last one here is part of a sequence. This was kind of like the dunk that sealed the game. So the question is, going up, when you see his face more, it's not like the most epic shot, but it's worthy of the story. Like, I think I'll probably end up with both of these. So pick that one and pick that one. All right, so then I go back to my overall view. And what we can do here is, again, sort just by the flagged ones here, and I still have 18. That's too many. It's too many. I don't want too many. I'll go back to the survey view again, and we'll just go through a second time really, really fast. There we go. We got down to 10. So from here, what I do is I will give these 10 shots a 4-star rating because the flags don't actually carry on outside of Lightroom. Lightroom is the only program that can see those. The stars show up in Windows Explorer or any other software that I might use. And so now I have a hierarchy. I have my 4 stars. Let me take the flags off now, and we can look here. All my 4-star photos. I have 10 of those. I have 33 3-star photos. 84 2-star photos. I mean, including reference stuff and just things I was trying that didn't quite work. And I have a lot of 1-star photos. So 681 1-star photos. What I will do with the 1 stars is I will remove them. I know I don't need them. I'll never use them again. If this is an important family photo shoot or something like that, I might leave them in there for a little bit. But in my case here, I know I'm not going to need these photos for anything. So what I want to do is we'll hit Control A and select all of these images. Again, you want to be careful. Make sure you're filtering only the 1-star images. So it's worth just double checking. I see that I'm okay, but as you're starting off, you might not. And I will just right click on these. I go all the way down here to remove photos. And you can just remove them from Lightroom and leave them on your disk untouched in the same place where they are. Or you have the option to remove them from your disk. And I know I don't need these photos, so I am just going to delete these. And you can see up here, moving them all to the recycling bin. Now there is a second way to rate photos. You can assign photos a certain color, and it's a good way to sort. Again, you can kind of assign your own meanings to it. Like, maybe green means these pictures are are done being edited, and yellow are in a work in progress, and red means don't do anything else to this photo. You can assign whatever rating system you want, and you can just use the 6, 7, 8, 9 keys to assign those colors, and it works the same way as these star ratings do. But that's basically it. That's how you import photos and rate them and rank them. It's pretty straightforward once you get into it. I know it takes a little getting used to. You don't just simply open a file and then go to work on it. In our case here, let's go to our flagged files here. We can make these thumbnails bigger. Let's say we decide to work on something. You just click on this image here. You can see it's selected down here in this film strip. And then you just move over here to the develop module. And you start making all your edits here. That's all there is to it. Once you've made your edits, if you want to save this as a JPEG and email it off to somebody, you have to export it. We don't save files in Lightroom. We import files into the ecosystem, and we export them out when we're ready to go. When we want to export a file, we have to click on right click, and we go down to a whole other menu. Exporting involves telling Lightroom what kind of file you want, how you want to change the size, all sorts of things. We will cover that in a future installment of these little Lightroom lessons. But for now, that's how you import files. That's how you rate your files and get rid of anything that's kind of garbage. Hope you enjoyed this session. As always, if you have any questions, give me a email, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Take care.